The movie commences with Yuki Hase, a high school student, strolling into the school library in search of books. Yuki desires to enhance his academic performance in the new school year because he faced difficulties, particularly in mathematics, during his first year. However, his purpose for visiting the library this time wasn't solely to find study materials. He was seeking books as a means to express his hobby, drawing. As he explores the library, he stumbles upon a library card lying on the floor. Intrigued, Yuki picks up the card and discovers that it belongs to a student named Kaori Fujimiya. Yuki imagines that the owner of the library card must be a remarkably beautiful girl. Yet, his best friend, Shogo Kiryu, pays no attention and returns to his book. As Yuki catches a whiff of the fragrance emanating from the card, unexpectedly, the owner arrives and gives him a disapproving glance. Kaori, assuming Yuki to be a perverted youth, sarcastically looks at him, retrieves her card, and departs. Following this encounter, Yuki hurriedly heads home on the train. Shortly afterward, Kaori boards the same train as Yuki, unbeknownst to both of them. Yuki dozes off during the journey and wakes up just in time to realize that he is about to miss his stop. He hastily makes his way to the door and steps off the carriage, only to realize that he left his book behind. Observing this, Kaori swiftly seizes Yuki's book and tosses it to him right before the doors close. With a smile, Kaori catches Yuki's attention, prompting him to chase after the departing train while expressing his gratitude. To make a long story short, the new school year began. Yuki and Shogo were now second-year students, back to being classmates. But what excited Yuki even more was that Kaori was in their class too. With excitement in his heart, Yuki hurried to his class and was overjoyed to see Kaori. He was about to greet her when the other students arrived, and the class started right away. During recess, Yuki approached Kaori to personally thank her for their encounter on the train. But Kaori seemed confused, as if she didn't understand what Yuki was talking about, and she simply walked away. Yuki chased after her, begging to be friends. However, Kaori rejected his plea, saying it was impossible to be friends with him. Yuki was baffled by Kaori's cold attitude towards him. Nevertheless, he never gave up and continued trying to approach Kaori and ask her to be friends. But Kaori remained indifferent to his requests. One day, Yuki followed Kaori as she walked up to the school roof. Kaori noticed him and asked him to stop following her. As Kaori was about to leave, clumsy Yuki accidentally dropped his lunchbox, scattering food everywhere. Feeling sorry for him, Kaori offered him her own lunch. The next day, Yuki returned Kaori's lunchbox and sat next to her, enjoying their meal together. It was during this time that Yuki realized Kaori was a kind-hearted girl, despite constantly rejecting his friendship. Yuki later discovered that Kaori had been turning down other offers as well since she transferred to their school 3 months ago, and as a result, she was seen as an outcast. Learning of Yuki's persistent efforts to befriend Kaori, their teacher, Mr. Inoue, revealed to Yuki that Kaori suffered from retrograde and anterograde amnesia due to an accident. Kaori could only retain memories for a week before forgetting everything. She could only remember her family. This was why she avoided everyone else, fearing that she would forget them too. The doctor suggested that Kaori might have been traumatized by the accident and wanted to erase the painful memories, but the new memories formed after the accident seemed to vanish on their own due to the trauma. Initially, Yuki didn't believe his teacher's words, but as he witnessed Kaori forgetting their shared experiences over the following weeks, he finally came to accept the truth. Unfazed by the challenge, Yuki resolves to be Kaori's friend, regardless of her condition. He devises a plan to help Kaori remember things by giving her a shared journal where they can document their memories each week. Yuki explains the journal's purpose to Kaori and leaves it with her, allowing her to contemplate his proposal. When Kaori returns home from school, she opens the journal and reads the first page, where Yuki has written about his daily life and activities from the past week. Reading Yuki's witty words brings a smile to Kaori's face. Curious about the shared journal, Kaori asks her mother about it. Her mother reveals that she used to exchange diaries with someone her age and found it incredibly enjoyable. Shortly after, a girl named Mayu Kono greets Kaori. Mayu is Kaori's friend from junior high school, but due to Kaori's condition, her mother quickly intervenes and responds to Mayu's greeting, as Kaori doesn't remember the girl at all. That night, Kaori seems unsure as she contemplates what to write in the journal Yuki gave her. Concerned, her mother recalls the doctor's advice not to get too close to anyone outside their family. The following day, Kaori returns the book to Yuki, explaining her illness and her reasons for rejecting the idea of a shared journal. She doesn't want to burden others who will eventually be forgotten by her. However, Yuki remains persistent, insisting on giving the book to Kaori and assuring her that he doesn't feel burdened at all and doesn't mind if she forgets. Initially, Kaori refuses Yuki's request. But one day, while handing Kaori an umbrella, Yuki accidentally places the book in her bag. Reluctantly, Kaori accepts the book and umbrella, then walks away, leaving Yuki behind. That night, Kaori immersed herself in reading Yuki's heartfelt words about their first encounter in the library. The next day, Yuki is elated because Kaori finally agrees to exchange diaries with him. Yuki reads Kaori's entry where she apologizes for rejecting him multiple times. She expresses her happiness as this is the first time someone has genuinely wanted to be her friend and has shown such unwavering persistence. Through the shared journal method initiated by Yuki, they gradually become closer and Kaori's demeanor becomes more open towards Yuki and his friends. In the summertime, Yuki invites Kaori to attend a fireworks festival with his friends Shogo Kiryu and Saki Yamagishi. Meanwhile, a young man named Hajime Kujo is seen arranging his transfer to Yuki and Kaori's school. As Kujo passes by Kaori while she is walking with Yuki and their friends, he appears to recognize her, but Kaori simply continues walking, seemingly unaware of Kujo's presence. At the fireworks festival, Kaori, accompanied by Yuki, unexpectedly encounters Mayu and Kujo strolling together. Mayu greets Kaori, but she fails to recall their connection. When Kaori crosses paths with Kujo, he stops her and refers to her as a traitor. Suddenly, Kaori experiences a memory flashback and then collapses unconscious. Upon awakening from her fainting spell, Kaori has no recollection of Yuki, who remains faithfully by her side. Kaori's father deeply appreciates Yuki's unwavering dedication to becoming friends with Kaori. However, he worries about his daughter's condition and wishes to prevent her from feeling burdened if Yuki continues to pursue their friendship too persistently. In response, Yuki assures them that if Kaori truly doesn't want to be friends, he will respect her wishes and give up. Following this conversation, Yuki meets Kaori, introduces himself, and hands her their shared diary, urging her to read it. As Kaori peruses its contents, she rediscovers the memories she shared with Yuki and they rekindle their friendship. Long story short, Yuki and Kaori find themselves in the same class as Kujo, a new student. However, Kaori still doesn't remember Kujo, despite his familiarity with her. One day, Yuki and Kaori go to the library to borrow books. Yuki wants a French dictionary but realizes he forgot his library card. Thankfully, Kaori lends hers to him. As the students prepare for the upcoming school festival, Kaori openly declares that Yuki is her most treasured friend. This fills Yuki with immense joy until he accidentally drops a giant domino intended for the festival. Worried that Kaori might get scolded, Yuki asks her to hide in the library. There, Kaori expresses her gratitude to Yuki for giving her new memories and experiences, even if they are only shared through writing. When Yuki leaves with Shogo, Kujo approaches Kaori. Unaware of Kaori's condition, Kujo becomes frustrated when she ignores him and pretends not to know him. Suddenly, Kaori experiences a headache as Kujo continues to press her. Witnessing this, Yuki rushes to Kaori's side and blames Kujo for causing her distress. However, Kaori takes responsibility, acknowledging that it is her own fault for not remembering anything. In the autumn, during the school festival, Mayu visits Yuki's school to meet Kaori. Yuki quickly realizes that Mayu and Kujo were Kaori's friends from junior high school. Motivated by this discovery, Yuki takes the initiative to reunite Kaori with her two old friends. Mayu explains their shared history, revealing that the three of them were close friends in middle school. During that time, Kujo had mentioned his impending move to Tokyo. However, before leaving, Kujo confesses his love to Kaori, which leaves her feeling conflicted because Mayu, her best friend, also has feelings for Kujo. Uncertain about how to respond to Kujo's confession, Kaori agrees to meet him one last time before his departure. However, their friend discovers Kujo's confession to Kaori and spreads it throughout the school, leading to the ostracization of Kaori by all the girls, including Mayu, due to Kujo's popularity. Kaori is unfairly labeled a traitor for supposedly betraying her best friend, Mayu, by accepting Kujo's feelings, even though she hasn't given her answer yet. Aware that Kaori plans to meet Kujo one last time, the jealous students, including Mayu, sabotage the meeting by insulting Kaori, who flees in shame and ends up being struck by a car. After the incident, Mayu deeply regrets her actions and tries to apologize to Kaori. Eventually, Kujo discovers the truth and asks Mayu to leave. Kaori experiences sudden pain in her head as she tries to recall those painful memories. However, Yuki, standing by her side, offers support and promises to always protect her, embracing her tightly. In time, Kaori remembers that on that night, she had intended to meet Kujo and confess her feelings to him. Realizing that Kaori has genuine feelings for Kujo and fully remembers him, Yuki tries to conceal his sadness and appears relieved as Kaori begins to regain her memories of the person she likes. Understanding that he can never compete with someone permanently remembered by Kaori, Yuki decides to end their friendship. After hearing Yuki's account of Kaori, Shogo is amazed by his best friend's strength in carrying such a heavy burden alone. Moved to tears, Yuki proceeds to burn their shared journal, which contains all of Kaori's memories and their memories together. From that moment on, Kaori no longer remembers Yuki and he can only watch her and Kujo from a distance, unable to do anything else. One day, Yuki entrusted a junior student with a French dictionary and asked them to return it to the library. Over the next 2 springs, Yuki and Kaori graduate from school. Yuki seizes the opportunity to meet Kaori and suggests exchanging messages in their graduation book. Yuki writes a heartfelt message expressing his immense joy in witnessing Kaori's smile again. Kaori appears puzzled as she reads Yuki's words but decides not to dwell on it too much. Soon after, Kaori is called to the library to return a book, which happens to be the French dictionary Yuki had borrowed a year ago using her library card. Not remembering this, Kaori feels confused. However, another student returns the book, and as Kaori flips through its pages, she discovers that Yuki has transformed their shared journal into a flipbook inside the dictionary. In that moment, a glimmer of her memories with Yuki resurfaces, prompting Kaori to rush off in search of him. Finally, on the school roof, she finds Yuki and calls out his name, revealing that she remembers him. Although her recollection of their memories remains incomplete, Kaori assures Yuki that she will make an effort to remember. She asks Yuki to be her friend, and with immense happiness, Yuki wholeheartedly accepts her offer. The moral of the story is that life can be unpredictable and sometimes we may lose the people we care about due to circumstances beyond our control. It teaches us to cherish the time we have with our loved ones, be understanding towards others facing challenges, and always be kind because our words and actions can have a lasting impact on others.